Welcome back to Train Sim Heroes. We're back here for the 1408 service from Ormskirk to Blackpool South. And if you remember the previous video, we finished a service at Preston. We're exploring the route now, right from Ormskirk to Preston to complete that part of the route, and we'll do Blackpool South in another edition. Let's get started and let's get those doors immediately open here at Ormskirk. Now, good thing a little bit about Ormskirk station, it's pretty much like most of the route. It's pretty derelict when you look at it. You've got a disused platform here, which I say is disused. It has still got the track there, but it's all boarded up. So my thought is here that they probably don't use this part because you've got two endpoints here on the buffers. So I think you get a bit of a choice, really. I think trains coming from that end will terminate here, and you'll end up getting on here. But you can get trains to Liverpool, it says here, and I'm assuming it doesn't mean that side, but it means this side of the platform, as opposed to this that says trains to Preston, which is obviously the one that we're going to take. Looking around the station though, this side is in full action, and over here you've got a beautiful church and some great buses again. Now this route, on the route, if you look at Ormskirk on here, if you do go down the route, you can go quite far down the track. There is a bit to see, which I'll just explain for you now. So if you carry on down this track, I don't know how far we'll get, but it does start to patter out, and when you get to here, the scenery does start to sort of get a bit more spacious. So there isn't really much to see up this part of the platform. So as usual, we're going to put this to go to Preston, which is always worth noting for our passengers, so they know exactly what our intentions are. There you go, looks lovely. And we're ready to depart on this part of the route as we leave Ormskirk station to Preston. Here we go. And we're off. Push our public address system, which we addressed last time.
The next stop is Ormskirk Junction.
There you go. So we've got, yet again, a lot to see on this route, because it is visually entertaining, but we have got a lot of industry and a lot of things to see on this route that might make some sense as we go along. Things that you might even recognise. So here we've got obviously the standard factories that you get along the route. And obviously with this route it is very countryside based, as you can see, but there is loads and loads to see as we go along this route. So our next station is Ormskirk Junction, and this route is mainly one track for quite some part of the route. So if you're ever thinking of creating a scenario on this route, just be aware that you might have to do a lot of waiting around. If for some reason you can't get through the platform sort of thing, you might have to wait through it and do a crossover. So yeah, there's a lot to think about when you do this this route, especially if you're creating your own one. But it's very good. I've tried it with modern day trains. It does hold up, but you do get a lot of waiting. Which I find can be a little bit off-putting at times. So you want a route that's continuous. You don't really want to go on a route where you're having to wait for the next thing to happen, kind of thing. So just bear that in mind if and when you play the route. Okay, as we come up to here, we come up to some nice industries, factories there. We've got a little farm over there, I think. But as you can see, like before, this is a very visually interesting route, and it's very well done. Even though it's set in the 1980s, it is done very, very well. And I think that's such a highlight of the game. So if you're ever thinking of buying a route, this is definitely one that you should definitely consider, 100%. It's a visually, aesthetically great route. And there's just little things that you need to notice along your journey that you will notice that might just take your fancy, just random things. And I'm going to show you a very random thing that I've just seen that we've just passed in a second when we're at the station. Now you can see this station has got the adjacent platform which is no longer in use. Once upon a time, that probably before this game was set, which I think, I'm not quite sure what year this is actually set in, but I know it's the 80s. It was like the Transport Hive, it would have had 2 platforms and everything, and then miraculously turned down to 1. But here we are at Burskoff Junction. Get those doors open. Now, I'm going to take you a little bit back down the track before we get any further, because up here I noticed was a very interesting thing that I saw was by these garages. You've got this guy here fixing what appears to be his car, which is actually on some crates, and he's got no clue what he's doing, but he wants to fix it, doesn't he? Very random indeed, but just little things like that. Around the car park here, you can see that, you know, it's a very basic kind of town and country car park. Standard bus here. Not quite sure what the bus is waiting to do, but it has got something different. It's got this on it, which, if you remember from the last time we done this route, when we were at Preston, we always saw town centre, but this is a double-decker with Lee on it going via Tolkirk Road. So very factual, maybe, to what the game was and how it's represented in the game. We continue though along this route, and there is a few factories up here that will be of interest to probably a few people. Let's just push the public announcement just to make our passengers aware that we are on course for our next station.
The next station stop is Rufford.
So we got this here. Now I don't know what this building is, but you've got a waterway here with water that actually does move and ripple, and this actually does go down the game a little bit, but it's quite aesthetically pleasing, to say the least. Something interesting there, that we've got another line here. So I don't know where that goes or where that comes to and from, but answers on a postcard. So we're just driving the 142 Pacer along this nice rural route. Now, what is that? Is that a bridge? Oh yeah, that is a bridge over the background there. That looks pretty good. Let's go and have a quick look at that. We might have a stream over it or something. Oh no, it is a stream. Yeah, look at that. So way out, our train goes off in the distance, but you got this random bridge, which I think makes it all just that little bit better. You've got these nice little random things that you can see outside in the country. It's almost like things that you wouldn't see, but you see them. Once you see them, they're there. And I think it's quite an interesting part of the route. So we've got some farm buildings over here. Lots going on there. A crossing way here that I would imagine is used for farming. But over here, look at this. They're growing stuff in these. These are like polytunnels and stuff. But nothing actually physically growing. No, nothing's ripened yet. So I would say it's a bit of a spoiled crop. Now, it's worth noting that if you're creating your own route on this is the point where you might get held up, because this is where the track splits into two, and and before it goes into the single track that we're on. So there's quite a few miles involved in this. So be aware of that. But as we come up here, we might even have a train waiting for us. So we'll have a little look. Hopefully we'll see some traffic. And I think there is a train actually in the platform. There is definitely something there waiting for us, and this is quite good. But I mean, that's probably only been waiting a few minutes. But when you come to play this game, if you're creating your own little route, be aware that You might be waiting there for some time. It's what we got waiting here. It's just a random Class 47 just sitting there on its own with no carriages, no nothing. I wonder where that's off to. Is it coming my way or is it going the other way? We need to investigate. This is quite a strange thing, and why that's sitting there. We need to see what that is. Let's get those doors unlocked and let's have a quick look. See which way it's going. So it looks like it's going in the same direction as me because the driver's actually sitting here. On the back end of it, yeah, there's no lights on, so I don't know where this is going. Let's have a look at the map, see what it says. It says Preston to Ormskirk, stopped as instructed. Very odd. I don't know what that is doing there, but it's in the wrong direction, opposite direction that we're going, and it's just sitting there. Very strange. Not quite sure what that's about, but we'll continue our journey and we'll make our way further on as we head closer and closer to Preston. And that 47 there will remain a mystery for the time being. Now this does go into a single track here again, basically the thing you need to know about this is that if you do make your own route, this is the divide point, so you've got to plan it quite well. I've done a lot of routes where I've just been sitting there waiting for nearly, I don't know, 15 minutes. So you've got to plan it quite. Otherwise you'll be on this singular track, and most of the journey to Blackpool South will unfortunately be a one-track job for most of it. There'll be the odd occasion. Okay, let's let them know where.
Stop here. Preston.
There we go, Croston. There we go. And that's where we're up to next. Still really concerned about that 47. Has it moved since we've last looked? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it's going backwards there. It's going backwards. So I don't know what that's in aid of because there's no coaches anywhere. Be interesting to see where that ends up and what happens at the other end. I've never seen that in the game before. Could be an error. Could be an error indeed. We might need to revisit that in a later episode and see whether we can find out the mystery of exactly where that goes to and why it's going that way. But yeah, that's a very interesting scenario. We'll look into that at a later date. We definitely will. Right, okay. So Croston is obviously our next journey, our next station. Let's get outside and see if there's anything that we need to see here. Let's do some tones. And we've got a lot of fields here. This route is very, very countrified. You would find a lot of countryside settings in this. There's not really a great deal to see when you play this route other than countryside, but it's visually appealing on the eye. Now there is something here called the Midge Hall token, which we're going to get after Preston. So basically we stop the train, take the token off the guard or whoever it is, and then we continue our journey. Yet again, I feel like it's a bit of a waste of time slowing down your train just to pick up this token. We are not going to pick up the token. I'm just going to make you aware we're not going to stop for the token because it is damn silly. Alright? And there's a lot of things that I like about Train Sim, but there's also a lot of things that I just find totally unnecessary, and this is one of them. So we are going to completely ignore the Midge Hall token, and we'll give you an example of what it entails and why we're missing it as we get nearer to it. But we are arriving in Croston, and yet again we're on a one platform basis here, and this is not a bad station actually. I quite like this one. I don't know why I like this one, but I think it's got some really nice added detail to it. So we'll have a little look at this as we come into the station. We'll have a little look. So we're just arriving. There we are at Croston. Slightly overcut that, but we'll be alright. Oh, actually, I'll say we've overcut it. No, we're still on platform bound. So that's pretty good. So, yeah, I like this station. It looks very nice. But it's a very weird station because you've got this lovely house here, some houses over here, and then you've got this big silo-y kind of place here. And you just think, okay. Anyway, let's get those doors locked. We're going to get on our way. We haven't got time to waste. And we're going to get our way off to... We're leaving a little bit early there. But we're going to go via signal ML02. Now, this signal will be where we come and look at this Mitchell token thing. We'll hit the signal first. But we're going to go via it. But now this is where I'm going to put my 4 pence in about silly things in the game. And whilst it's not a totally silly thing, because in the day people would have had to stop at the Mitchell token and collect the token, it would have been a thing in the day, okay? And I understand realism, but I think really for me it's not so much silly or pointless, it's just I can't be bothered to stop and then start again for a second on the track. So providing it lets us through without any signal, we are going to take this and we're going to use that to our advantage, and we're going to go straight through the Mitchell token, straight to Preston, and not think of anything more about it. Okay, that's my take on this. I don't really feel the Mitchell part really, but you know, to make it real, I understand a lot of people will want to make it real. You know, most people will stop and most people will do it, but for me it's a bit of a time waster, so we won't be actually stopping there. But we're going to go via the signal, and you'll see exactly what Mitchell's all about when we go through it, and you'll understand why I'm not stopping, I think. Hopefully you will. But let's be a rebel, eh? Let's be a rebel in this. You know, the good thing about Train Sim World is you can be a rebel. You can do what you like. You can leave stations early, you can arrive early, leave late, cause a bit of chaos, whack something on, like put a random train on the line, hold up the traffic a bit, make it a bit more exciting. You can really do some damage to the game, and you can make it how you want. And there's no rules to say that you don't have to stop at everything. Providing you haven't got a red signal, you can basically do what you like, really. And yeah, it's not a foregone conclusion that you have to literally do everything the rules say in the game. Now, we have got a red signal coming up, but what we're going to do is what will happen is I will slow down, because built into the game it wants me to get to a certain speed. If I don't get to a certain speed, it will make me go through the red. If I slow down, it will change to a yellow signal. So the idea is you get down to a reasonable speed that isn't ridiculous, enough for you to stop in time, and what it will actually do as you get closer to it or nearer the signal, it will allow you to go through the signal on a yellow, which is normally what happens. So I'm hoping, with a bit of luck, we don't get waylaid at the Mitchell token. I don't really want to stop. So let's see what happens. We're down to a reasonable speed now, so hopefully when we hit this signal, ML02, that signal in front of us should allow us to speed back up again. Let's see what happens. So it's going to be quite tight to the signal. Sometimes it wants you to stop. It depends how early you are. But we have to be very vigilant on where the signal is, because Mitchell is just up above us. It's literally just in the distance. You can just see it. So we're not going to take any risks on it. But hopefully it will allow us to go through Mitchell without any problems. I think we're going to be okay. I reckon it will change before we get there. Right, 80 yards and we're there. Fingers crossed for me. There you go, it's gone green, which means we can go through. That's exactly what I thought it would do. We speed up, and this is Mitchell. We're going to go directly through it. We're not going to stop here. Waste of time for me. Just want to get on with the journey. We'll show you Mitchell, of course. And once the train's gone, we'll show you what you have to do. So this guy here is your token man, and he will give you the token. He's waiting there for you. Look at his eyes. Wow. Anyway, he will be waiting here for you. You give it the green light to go. You carry on your journey. You stop there, and that's what happens. There's no point really stopping there. For realism, it is for the sake of the game and for this, what I'm showing you here. We're just going to get our way to Preston and enjoy ourselves. I feel like you could technically waste a lot of time putting yourself in that kind of problem at Midge Hall. Getting the train slowed down, stopping, collecting, going again. Yeah, let's get on our route. We'll probably end up reaching Preston a little bit earlier than planned, which is always a bonus in this game. So we're heading. We should be in Preston in 6 minutes according to the time, but I think we'll be there a little bit quicker than that. So yet again on a single track until we get onto the main line. And when we get onto the main line, we'll rejoin that. Now the main line is actually a part of the route that will take you to Preston to Carlisle, which we will be featuring in a later episode, and you'll be able to continue your onward journey. So it's kind of semi-connects, but we'll be doing that in our West Coast Mainline series, which will be coming later on this channel. Eventually we'll cover virtually every route and every aspect of everything we do, and along the way we will be doing some funny little things, like we will be trying some things out that, you know, a bit random, things that are a bit exciting, a bit crazy. We'll be trying everything out. We're going to be playing around with train sim. We're going to be creating some scenarios where things might not turn out the way you want it to. So literally, we're going to create some chaos in some later videos. So it's all in plan. So stick with us here on the channel. I am new at doing this, not new at playing the game, but new at doing the YouTube. So your support is largely founded. So please help me. Share the videos on Facebook and on Instagram, wherever you can. Get the channel out there, big it up a little bit, and get me some more views and likes. It can only be done through you guys. We're not going to turn out to be another British ace. I'm just going to point out we're not going to turn out to be another British ace who is very dull and very boring. We're not going to be like him. We are actually going to make things a bit exciting, and hopefully my upbeat voice will actually encourage you to watch more. So hopefully with a bit of luck our videos won't turn out to be so dull. So watch this space for more excitement. Now we're joining the main line. I'm going to quickly show you this. So this is the main line. So when you get the other route that goes from Preston to Carlisle, this is the bit where your train, or that would be sitting in Preston, would come from. So, and eventually you would then join that, and then you would start your other line. Then you'll come off on another section further up past Preston. The Blackpool North line will be to your right. You'll go left of it under a bridge, and you would continue your wayward journey off and onwards. So there's the main line that we're just approaching now. There it is there. And we might even see some Class 47s pass us as we enter the main line. There's a good chance that we might see some. There's also a large chance we might not. So I would say brace yourself. Hopefully we'll see some traffic as we come into Preston. Little sign there on the side of the railway, worth noting. There you go. We're a little bit high here. We're above the train. It's getting a bit lower. So we're coming into Preston. This is where we was. Yes, this is where we was. So we're just coming to Preston. This is where we was on the last video, where we was coming into Preston. We was showing you the route from Blackpool North. So this takes us into the next kind of section of where we was before. Another sign on the side of the railway there. We didn't really explore that one. We should have done. But as we come in to this route, you'll see that we've got some tower blocks in the rear distance, which is always worth seeing. And we've got a red signal above us, but we are coming into Preston. where our journey on this route will actually end. There's some nice freight canisters over here. Look, these. They're quite nice. Don't know if they're filled. Let's have a look. Oh no, they are empty ones. So yeah, so there's all sorts of things on this route that you've got to look out for. Always good to see something a bit new. But as we approach Preston, we're going over this lovely bridge. I love this bridge. It's like, oh, we're coming into the final hurdle. And then you've got this big river going underneath it. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. But we are going to slow down just a tad here as we come into Preston, and we're going to come in on platform 1, which is always a good one to come in on. Over here we've got a 47. Over here, a couple of 47s. One of them painted completely blue. A few of them painted blue. What is going on there? Wow. That's a bit of a rare thing. What we've got in over there as well, looks like we've got some... Oh, yes. Well, we'll show you that in a second as well. There's something in the goods platform over there, I think, as well. So let's slow this down a little bit. Gonna slightly maybe overshoot this slightly. Oh no, no, we've done well there. Get the doors unlocked. And over here we've got a train which is going to Ormskirk. So we've got the train that's where we've come from. We've got another one going out, which is good. But I wanted to look over here, because over here we've got some interesting stuff. Over here we've got the goods depot, and we've got a class 87 pulling the parcels train, which if I open this up a little bit, you can see that in here you've got it would have been good if they put some parcels in there. And over, you've got these things which will get pulled later on. And on this line over here, I don't know what we've got here. What is it? Well, we've got some gaps, but it's all parcels and all goods. Because over here you've got the Royal Mail, which is called Mail Depot on this game. Remember last time we had King Mail? So we can click on here and see when this one's going to actually leave. We might be able to pick it up, but I don't think it's got it hasn't got a service to locate to it, so it probably isn't going to happen anytime soon. But there we go. That does bring us to the end of this service. We hope you've enjoyed this first part. We will continue this route off to Blackpool South in the next video, part 3 of the Blackpool branches. Until then, keep liking, keep subscribing, keep sharing, and thanks very much for joining me on Train Sim Heroes.